We live.
Who's racing?
Motorcycles.
Broom, broom.
It's called the
Broom, broom.
it's called the Hell's Kitchen.
You're a Hell's Kitchen.
No.
I wonder if this is close enough.
Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't.
Look, we
Maybe
have
it isn't.
we have a
Maybe it
little
is.
COVID wall right now. Me and you. Do they win?
Yes.
Good
Well,
job.
last time I checked, they're winning like 2-0.
Welcome back. This is episode
Thank you.
13? 13
Yes.
of Don't Think Too Hard, the podcast brought to you by myself and my friends, Johnny, Andre, Patrick, who's not here, and our producer in Atlanta, who's not here as well. So I guess we're producing our own podcast today.
We have to do manual labor.
Manual labor. How's everyone doing today?
I'm doing well.
Doing well?
Yeah. What, is,
I had
Doing well.
a bad day yesterday, but then today
what happened?
made up for it. Dortmund lost 2-0.
Oh.
But then today Bayern got smashed 4-1, so
Did they actually?
and they lost 4-1 to Hoffenheim today.
Did they play like their children?
I don't know, but but the problem with Dortmund is we played like 5 out of our starting 11 were under 20-year-olds.
Oh, that's why. Okay. That
We,
makes
but
sense.
you know what the worst part is? We have our best player, Marco Reus, our team captain, Marco Reus.
On the bench.
Arguably the second best player on our team, Julian Brandt,
Yeah.
on the bench.
Both of them.
Both of them.
Ah.
And
Who you guys play?
we said, hey, we want to compete and try to win the league, but we're not going to play our best players.
No. Because why? Why would you
Because
do
why?
that?
Why would we?
So early in the season.
we want to let Bayern have such a big head start.
Yeah, let's not start.
Let's not. But it's okay. Bayern slipped up as well. Right now, Hoffenheim is leading the league. To be fair, Hoffenheim actually has an incredibly underrated team, and Kramaric is an underrated striker. That guy is on Lewandowski level. Maybe not, but he's good.
He's good.
He's good. He's a good player.
And I need to get well versed in Bundesliga. It's a sick league.
Yeah.
How about you,
What's up,
bud?
what's up, Andre?
What happened to?
I was just
supposed to-
trying to keep up with the conversation. You know, it's good practice to look at the person who is speaking.
I wasn't
So I was
speaking.
trying to
What are you looking?
I was
at
trying to
for?
predict because Matthew would say something and then I would look at you because I thought you were gonna respond, but then Matthew would say something else, so then I'd have to look back, and then I just I'm trying to learn, you know.
In
So
which
I
case,
wasn't-
you need a lot more practice.
Yeah, I do need a lot more practice. A lot of people tell me, you know, I'm a little socially awkward. A lot of people tell me this thing, so I'm trying to practice. I'm trying to get better. You know, what
You're
I'm
trying to
saying?
be more awkward. Start
Word for the
predicting on
wise.
who's talking.
Yeah,
Look at
when-
the first.
don't try to predict. That's weird. Imagine a group you're just like. Wait, you? Yeah, I got it.
You close
That
your
would
eyes.
be sick.
You close your eyes. You're doing some anime meditation. He's gonna talk first.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm gonna learn to do, and I'm gonna be able to predict anything, always.
Then you can
Forever.
become a conversational analyst. Analyst. That's
No,
the word.
analyst is
Analyst.
the right word. Yes, you're not analyst. But
But what?
Yes.
speaking, I didn't tell you about my week.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
didn't. You just purposely ignored my
I don't
question,
know. I've just been doing
which
schoolwork.
is pretty bad at conversation. You just talked about yourself the entire time.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get better. I'm practicing. Okay, let me get better. But I was gonna say all I did was schoolwork. Nothing really exciting. I didn't sleep well, so now I'm fucking tired as hell. And we're gonna see if I can make it through. But I'm gonna try my best.
Well, I have a couple pillows, so we'll slap you up a couple times. If I see you nodding off, it'll be okay. We'll be
I'm
fine.
glad. I got friends that have my back.
And your face.
In your face. That sounds
Pause.
horrible.
Pause. I mean, the back too. That's kind of
That sounds bad too.
why. Let's start over.
And welcome back to no I'm joking. Imagine.
This is episode 13.
Yes.
13.
Currently titleless.
Yes.
We will figure out the title halfway through the podcast.
Yeah.
Or at least I will.
Cloned horses. That's my
Oh,
topic for today.
Okay. hit
What
me.
about it?
That they've recently, like in September 4th, they cloned one of the last of the wild Mongolian horses. I can't remember. It's a weird sounding name. It starts with a P. But they had a wild horse in the San Diego Zoo, and I guess they're like in
So
the
it wasn't
wild they're
wild
extinct. No, they took it.
From the wild into the San Diego.
Yeah,
Oh, so now it's a captive.
And now-
horse. Got it.
a captive wild horse, and then they were like, "Hey, this is one of the last ones. Let's freeze his DNA, and then 40 years later, clone him." And then they successfully cloned
So
a wild horse.
today was
40
the 40
years.
years.
40
Or
years.
not today, but
They
like,
cryogenically froze
cryogenically freezes.
the. I don't know if it was the sperm or like the actual DNA, because it's a genetic copy.
But it would have. Usually, cloning works based off you take tissue. I don't know exactly, but you basically get like the basis and then you insert it into
Okay.
and
It's like a
inseminate
stem
an
cell.
egg. And you inseminate an egg and then you inject it into like a female.
I don't
so
know,
they give
because
birth to it.
they're saying like it's the
But then
exact same.
But then
horse.
it wouldn't be the exact same if
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, it
like
would.
but the
No,
female
because you have the female-
as a mother.
No, but I mean like it's
you mean
not
as a
the female's
surrogate?
egg. It's not her egg. It's
She's like the
it's
surrogate
literally
mother.
like the egg and sperm together make a thing. They freeze that and then they insert that into a female.
Ah,
So the
okay.
female's just there as like a
As a
like a
holder.
growing thing
Yeah.
to grow it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. And that took me down a rabbit hole because I was like, I'm seeing stories of people paying like $50,000 to clone their dead dogs so that they can have a genetic copy of their dogs.
Does it work?
Yeah. Like there's a man who's on like his third generation of his same dog he had the first time he got it.
Question: When you do clone genetics, and I mean like genetics to like the most accurate form possible,
Yeah.
do they carry over same personality traits,
Yeah,
or
that
are
was-
personality traits developed as a human life,
Well,
or
I
as
was-
a whatever life like develops?
I'm assuming they'd be the same up until a certain point because like your personality is like determined a lot by your environment also, right?
Yeah, that's
So if
what
you-
they're saying.
Yeah, so if you grow up different, you'll act different.
So then I was like, so at what point are we gonna like just start cloning humans? And
Like
that,
you're my
that's
my
nuts.
brother died, and I want to have a new brother, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
genetically clone him.
remember that show? It was weirdly called Resurrection, when they brought like they went to a town and whoever had a deceased like relative, they brought like one of the main I never watched it, but one of the main families had a dead son, and then they brought the son to the house, and you're like, you've been dead for like 20 years, but it's the same son at the same age he was when he died. And then they were like, oh, this is a new program basically of cloning. They wanted a project to like clone humans. I'm like, no, that's not.
That's too much. You get psychologically fucked with people like crazy.
Imagine you bring back Michael Jackson. I'll
Yeah,
off
but
myself.
it won't-
I'm joking. I wouldn't do that.
But it won't be Michael
It won't
Jackson.
be Michael
Exactly.
Jackson, though. Like you can clone, you can be a genetic
Imagine if they
copy
brought
of
back
me,
Tupac.
but it won't be Tupac.
Well, how would we know? Because people say he never died. So we would never know. What if he just becomes like
What if he's been
A-
cloned for
a
his last 8 years? He's an 8-year-old Tupac walking. Yeah, but then like Andre said, it won't be Tupac because Tupac and Michael Jackson were formed from their environment,
yeah,
right?
but like
it's like you clone Eminem, but he grows up in California. It's not
There's
going to be
actually-
Eminem from
there's
Detroit.
actually a conspiracy that the Eminem we're currently seeing is a clone.
I heard of that about Avril Lavigne too. I think
I don't know about that one. I never heard about that one, but yeah.
it's like because it's really hard to tell because it's like your brain chemistry is one thing. So I guess if you clone me now, whatever my brain makeup is what my clone would have. But at the same time, a clone being birthed would still need unless
X amount of years to develop.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I'm trying to think if you birth the clone. Wait, but are you birthing the clone at my age or?
No, I think it's
a
like
genetic
fetus.
Oh,
From
so
fetus
then
onward.
then it just won't be me. It just look like me then. So that's like barely a clone. It
That's
just have
scary.
it just have my genetic. It just
But
look
it-
exactly
but
like me. It'll
like-
act different. It'll talk different. Everything else will be different.
Imagine
except how I look.
you're like a elite like politician,
Yeah.
and they just assassinate you secretly, and then they have had a clone living alongside you. It's like us, basically.
But they've had politicians have had doubles to avoid assassination.
I know.
The assassination of JFK, doubles have walked into cars
Yeah.
in case that car was targeted for an attack.
But
and the
imagine-
real president would be.
Imagine the opposite. Imagine they don't like what the politician is doing, so they're like, we're gonna kill you, but we don't want to revolt from the people. So we're gonna switch you with your doppelganger, and this person is gonna do what we want you to do. You're gonna be dead, but people aren't gonna know that you're dead because they're gonna see you, but it's not gonna be you. And all of a sudden, there's like this policy change, and then yeah,
Guess it's possible.
It's
Communism.
like I hated this guy for 3 years, but now he's kind of a good guy.
Yeah, something's different about this guy. I like it.
This is a tough conversation. I
Yeah.
guess it depends. Because at the end of the day, it's just going to be like you'll look and you'll sound like me, but that's it. That'll be a clone. It's like you're not cloning me as me.
But then
You know
what
what I
are
mean?
you?
Yeah, but like some of your traits, for example, I know, for example, me, like it could be 30 degrees outside, and I'll like not even thinking, I wouldn't put on shorts. I'd put on like jeans.
Yeah.
Okay, but
And
what
but
if...
but it's like, for example, my mom always said, you get that from your grandfather. Same with
Yeah.
your lazy eye. But like you get that from lazy eye is genetic, but the fact that I always wear jeans in like 35-degree weather is from my grandfather, because my grandfather used to always wear jeans.
Yeah.
I never met the guy.
Yeah.
So it's like, how does that
How does that carry on?
subconsciously have that trait?
But what if you lived in friggin' Mexico where it's 35 every single day? At some point, you might wear loose pants, or you might wear shorts, or you might do something else. Like at the end of the day, you can wear jeans because that's just like your life allows you. But like if you ever get put into a situation where like, oh, maybe I can't wear jeans.
Well, I mean, I don't wear jeans on the soccer field. No, I'm just saying, like, subconsciously, I put on jeans,
Yeah.
even though I shouldn't, because it's so hot outside. But then it's like, is that subconscious trait genetic? Because it carried down from somebody else who had a similar, it's not the exact same trait. And it's definitely like, I don't know, it could be just a coincidence.
Yeah.
But something is there that makes me think that I always have to put on jeans when it's hot outside. Or I always just subconsciously resort to jeans and longer pants. So it's like, if
Yeah.
I have a clone, does that same trait come with me
Probably not.
or not?
I'm
It's like
saying
an
it
empty
could.
vessel.
I just still think it depends. Like if he lives, say he's rich and he lives on like boats and like resorts and stuff, and all he needs to do is and he's like these, all he's gonna wear is like open button up shirts and shorts, and wear friggin' hats and fedoras. I don't know. Like you never know. He'll just be a completely different person. Like there are certain things that I probably are like inherently like built into you. But then at the same time, especially early on, they're probably very easily changed by whatever
Yeah.
environment you lived in. So like say he has the propensity to put on jeans, but then if his family doesn't own jeans and he just never seen a pair of jeans in his life, he's not going to see a pair of jeans when he's 35 and be like, "Oh, that's what's been missing from my life." And then go buy jeans and then only put them on when it's hot. You know what I mean? That's what I'm kind of. So there might be stuff.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. Genetics are so fucked like that. It's
At some point, you're playing God at some point, and that's just weird.
But like, that's far off because like they still can't even clone organs.
I mean,
Like
they
if you
clone
have
horses.
if you have a heart failure,
Yeah.
you know how much easier things would be if you can just clone my heart.
Yeah, but
I know,
And
but like
then
it's
Give it
no,
back
but
to
it's
me.
not like a TV show where you put a heart into a container and it goes shoop, and another heart appears that's exactly the same. You have to grow that heart from somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if we're
But
taking this deep dive
stem
into
cell research.
conspiracies, there's actually stories that China has tissue growing factories
Mhm.
where they can actually, like, I don't know, in an incubator or something, but they can actually grow. Like if you rupture your Achilles, they can grow it, and then
Well, it's like
Do
a real like area of research.
yeah,
So like they're trying,
So it's-
and I think they've had success. I don't know. I haven't done research on it, so
I
I don't
know.
know how far they've gotten.
But,
But-
for me, because like the way the government works is that they don't show you what's actually going, like what they're actually capable of,
Yeah,
until like 30 years down the line.
yeah.
So
It's not even that. It's like, I don't think we realize the government, for example, has like, listen, these people who are running our countries, right? Every country in the world are a lot smarter than we are. Like we like to think, oh, they're stupid for doing this. We've been manipulated as a human species for
Yeah.
so long, slowly being implemented these things.
Yeah.
It's like, think about technology. Like I'm sure, when as an example, Facebook was created, and you're telling me that like it's not like the government said, okay, here's Facebook, here's all the information that comes with it.
yeah,
No, they were slowly using this thing to like, track habits, track this, track that, and slowly manipulating us by feeding us these like, little ideas and ideas and ideas, and these ideas build up.
Yeah.
Same thing with that tissue growth. Like they're not going to just be like, "Hey, we discovered tissue growth."
Yeah.
It'd be like, no. So it's like, you know, they'd silently introduce it. They'd silently introduce it into healthcare, you know,
Yeah.
at such like microscopic scales, and slowly develop it over time.
To be honest, I don't even think the government runs anything.
No.
They're controlled by the shadow company, whoever they are,
And they're controlled by the shadow.
of the shadow company.
Yeah. The literal shadow.
And it all winds down to one kid in his
Darkness.
basement
That would be
who
trippy.
has blackmails.
Oh man.
The Gothic has AC/DC posters all over his basement.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's a complicated area because like it's just like how we were talking about with the prosthetics things last week. It's like how far is too far, you know?
I think as soon as you start deciding, hey, let's resurrect this species, then that's too far. I'm like, yeah.
But like, there's a lot of endangered or extinct animals.
Yeah.
Is it too far to resurrect extinct animals?
I mean,
It's
look
too
what-
you preserve it.
all you need is they made 5 movies on why resurrecting dinosaurs is a bad idea.
Right. So
Okay, but maybe not dinosaurs. I'm just talking about like
But
No,
look,
you
but
preserve-
then your argument goes to a point where it's like, where does it stop?
yeah, you
You
try
know,
to preserve what
if
you have.
If you resurrect the dodo bird, hey, we should resurrect the long neck just to see how it like would have lived. Like it's a good for scientific research. And it's like, well, okay, we tamed the long neck. Let's upgrade to something that's like,
Velociraptors,
yes, and then we could probably tame that. Oh, velociraptors are an easy pickle, and then
T-Rex,
T-Rex, and then you know what?
Dragons.
One guy's sleeping on the job. A gate breaks. Then you start making those mega T-Rexes
You start
that are just
Making-
absolutely killing. You start
you start
making hybrid
hybrids.
dinosaurs.
that's what I'm saying.
you
But
confuse
where
a hybrid cyborg dinosaur.
where
Whoa, that's nuts.
is the line though?
There is
Dude,
no
obviously,
line.
I
You
don't
don't
think
have
there
one.
is.
obviously that's too far. But then what is not as bad as that, but still too far?
We're at the
there
point
is-
of no
I don't
return.
think. I don't think. I think that.
That's what I
think.
think.
Johnny's absolutely right. I think that line has been crossed way before.
Literally, as soon as we went to the Industrial Revolution, it was over.
I think so.
As soon as we
Yeah.
had steam powered trains, it was like, yeah, we're done. It's over.
Like
At this
to be
point.
fair, I
Clock's
don't
ticking.
think like I believe in God, and I believe God is like, you know, gave us everything and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm being straight up honest with you guys, I don't think God expected us to get as far as we did.
Or wanted us.
Exactly.
To-
Exactly. That's
'Cause
another
this
thing.
is-
I think that line crossed when we started realizing, hey, why am I walking when I could build this thing called the wheel, make it a wagon, attach it to a horse, and now I have a horse, another living creature working for me.
I don't know.
That's
but,
when that line.
Yeah.
But why isn't that like
You
kind
know
of
why?
like,
You know why I think that line is crossed. Sorry not to interrupt you. Is because if you think about the world as a 24-hour period, mankind from the first man has only been here for, I think it was like 3.6 seconds on a 24-hour period. So you're telling me all that prior, people lived, not people, living things lived the way they were supposed to.
Yeah.
And in that 3.6 seconds,
We just decided.
God fucked up our DNA a little bit, and shit went AWOL.
I don't know, man. I think that's like sort of like, I don't want to say conceited, but it's like very like a selfish way of thinking, because how do you know that God is just like you think of the circle of life, right? We farm plants, they give us oxygen, we breathe oxygen. Then eventually we die. They feed off us, and then they grow and give us oxygen.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like an endless cycle that way.
Yeah, but
And there's
what I'm-
also the fact that there's been so much examples of like past civilization that have, or like theories of that have gotten so far in advance and then eventually just killed themselves, and then they die off, then someone else comes to replace them, then they die off, then someone else that comes to replace them.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know this? Not just like this is the part of the cycle. Like this, even that big doomsday climate change clock, 7 years, the thing where it's like we have 7 years to stop climate change. Like, how do we know that climate change isn't just on the
on a time
time scale? Like, that's just what is coming.
like the ice age.
I mean-
global warming didn't affect the ice age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
before humankind, you know.
But apparently,
global
like,
warming didn't affect the meteorite striking the world.
apparently the Earth has gone through worse heating periods
Yeah.
than what we're experiencing
Oh,
now,
100 yeah.
without human
Without
influence. So
intervention or anything. So
yeah.
like,
So this, I don't know.
I mean, at one point, the Earth was a massive ball of water with a giant piece of land,
yeah.
yeah. Apparently,
and
at
there's
one
no
point,
humans to affect that or anything. So to say that, hey, humanity's like melting the icebergs, and that's gonna flood San Francisco in X amount of years,
Yeah.
or flood New York. No,
I mean, it could-
the flooding of New York and San Francisco is gonna happen whether we're here or not.
I think
Yeah.
so too. Like maybe we're speeding it up. That's possible, but I don't think we
have that much of an
an
influence.
effect where we can stop or cause something to happen. Like
That's like-
obviously, unless there's like a nuclear war and then everyone
yeah.
just blows
Yeah.
everything to shit. But
But
I mean,
that's like saying you putting lotion on your body is gonna solve your high cholesterol
yeah,
because it's a topical thing. We're just living on the surface, so we have no idea what's going on internally.
exactly.
It's with everything though. It's like, hey, if I eat my fruits and vegetables, I'm gonna be healthy. But then you have a heart attack 4 days later.
Exactly.
Well, you're
Like-
doing what you're supposed to do, and things can still go wrong. But then in the flip side, you can't just go around saying don't eat fruits and
I
vegetables.
mean, I love my aunt. I love my aunt with all my heart.
yeah,
She smoked, and I'm not talking smoked. She smoked for 70 years of her life.
yeah,
This woman's gonna outlive everybody. I swear to God.
That's what I'm saying. You can
Yeah.
tell people don't go to the other side, but there are people who eat like garbage,
Yeah.
smoke all the time, don't exercise, and will outlive all of these fitness models out
oh yeah.
there. So
But
like,
but that it can be an example for everybody
No,
because
it
there's
can't.
also people. There's also a great number of people who do that, and then die early.
yeah, and there's a
So-
great number of people who
Don't do that.
are fitness gurus and like stick to fitness and then overwork themselves and die.
Oh yeah. Well, you gotta have like an actual balance of what
And
your
then-
life is, of what you do in your life. I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly. You find that perfect balance. You figure out life. Then you walk out in the street, get hit by a car, and now you're dead.
Oh yeah.
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 So, in my opinion, you just do what you want. Just don't do anything stupid.
That's what I'm saying.
But then what is stupid? If you do
I
what,
mean,
if I
like
do what I want,
murdering people.
what if that's not stupid to me?
You're just a sick human being.
What if that's not sick? I'll do what I want, but I can't do what I want. That's not fair.
I mean, at the
That's
end,
why games like Grand Theft Auto exist for you to like. Really
I've
get
actually-
that anger.
get a,
No, I've actually when I remember I tried playing online a couple of years ago, and then I couldn't because every time I would walk outside, someone
someone
would
just
kill
kill
me.
you.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
this is what happens when there's no consequences in life, and no one has to worry about repercussions.
Yeah.
It's madness. This is the
Yeah.
true nature of people without any law.
That's
That's
exactly
scary.
Grand Theft Auto is literally that.
Yeah. So I'm like, imagine if everything like it was actually anarchy, it would be chaos.
Look at the world now
Yeah.
with repercussions,
Yeah. And then remove that.
and then
Not even that. With repercussions and a pandemic that tells everyone to watch out.
Yeah.
And it's like
And it's still we're on
you're
the
still-
verge of
it's
World War
hot-
III.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
remove
so
that.
like it's like yes, essentially yes. So, but that's also why I'm thinking that like humans as like a species just haven't figured it out yet, and that is why we keep getting this like cycle. Maybe there will be a point in like human existence where we're like, oh, we finally figured out the perfect balance. But like until then, we're just gonna keep going, or I guess not extinct because you need someone left to like build back up. But like you just keep going.
Yeah.
Different civilizations are just gonna go out, and then
Yeah.
another one's gonna come in, then another one's gonna go
Yeah.
out, and it's
Like
gonna
we
keep
as
going like
humans, eventually, like New York, Toronto, all these Beijing, all these massive cities, at one point are going to be ruins.
that. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and there's going to be new civilizations, for example, in Antarctica or something like
Yeah.
that.
And it's like this like the singularity or whatever, like that's with AI. But there's like a thing called like there's a mass extinction event, it's like a big wall that they theorize.
Yeah.
So there's like two things. There's either we haven't hit it yet. So like if we do hit it, then that means that's game over and everyone's gonna die.
Yeah.
Like that's like some solar flare shit.
Whatever it is, there's always they theorize that there's always mass extinction event that'll wipe out Earth. So either civilization in general, not just Earth, like planets in there. That's why they're saying like if we find life on Earth, I mean, outside of Earth, that's actually could be considered a bad thing, because that means it's more likely that we haven't hit the wall yet, the mass extinction event. If there's nothing out there,
Yeah.
then we might be one of the few that have
That
actually
survived.
that survived the mass extinction.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Understand? But
Because
the more
that's-
life outside means like it hasn't happened.
But you're talking about like a mass extinction that's
No,
not
I'm
just
talking
in
about-
our soul. Like
No, I'm
like
talking about
something
the-
happened in the universe that literally wiped life
Yeah.
completely.
I don't think we'll ever find like of concrete evidence of life outside of here.
Definitely
But
not.
you have to think about what makes life life. Like
Yeah.
like I'm not talking about like the smallest of bacteria. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like concrete life, like physical thing, not like microscopic life forms. I'm talking like physical life forms, like us,
Yeah.
you know, animals, trees, stuff like that. You have to think about how perfect the world's environment is in correlation to like the sun, the distance, the gravitational pull. All this
Yeah.
stuff had to line up immensely, and over the course of 6 billion or however many years,
Yeah.
it started developing at the microscopic level and slowly developed. So I don't believe, like when people say, "Oh, there has to be life out there," it's like it's hard to say. Listen, the universe is so big that there very well might be life out there, and I'm super down for that. But to think about when people say, "Oh, there has to be life out there," and then they show us, for example, like a Star Wars where there are different creatures and stuff like that all over the universe, I don't think that can exist simply because in order for life to happen, a situation has to be so specifically accurate that's like, listen, if the sun's big, a few hundred meters bigger,
We burn.
we burn.
Yeah. That's something
And
that
it's like how can their life be, if life's different somewhere else, how can there be life, has life we know,
yeah.
if their entire situation is completely different?
The only pushback I have is life adapts. So like if you find a way to survive the most extreme, then life will propagate and like exist within that. It doesn't have to be like, again, it doesn't have to be humans. We couldn't live in a volcano, but there are certain life forms that can survive extreme situations. So I don't see why that can't happen somewhere else.
No, but that life form had to have been created by something.
Yeah.
And from what we know, life can only be created in such a specific environment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
life as we know it.
That's why that's what led me to Christianity.
Sorry
No,
to
yes.
interrupt you, Johnny. I have another thought. Unless there's a situation, because our universe is so incredibly massive, the only way I see on like life as we know it somewhere else is if there's an exact situation as the one we have here, which is the only possible way I could possibly comprehend that. And that's a matter of whether that same situation is X amount of billion years behind us or X amount of years ahead of us.
Yeah, because technically, the way light travels is if you see a star, they're technically in the future.
No, they're in the past.
No,
no,
I mean,
they're-
the star
Is
that
in
you
the future.
see,
Or might not
the
exist.
actual the
Yeah.
actual star is in the future because you see the one from the past.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So
Or no, the star there is the present, but you're seeing
Yeah,
the
yeah.
star in the past.
Yes. So
what it
like at some aspect, like with the theory of relativity and all, if I go somewhere fast enough, I'm time traveling.
Yes. Which is why an awesome theory. We could technically see dinosaurs in the way they got extinct here. And the way you do it is you launch a fast enough telescope that's faster than the speed of sound at a far enough distance, and then turn it around and look back, and the light from the Earth, from the dinosaur age of Earth, hasn't traveled that far yet. So
Yeah,
you
but
could catch the past.
by
if
the
you launch-
time
Yeah.
if
you
you launch a
develop
telescope
technology,
fast enough,
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
launch a telescope fast enough and turn it around. The past hasn't yet reached that moment in space.
Yeah.
And you could see the past.
But by the time we develop that technology, the moment we will be able the precise distance we would have been able to see the light would have passed.
Yeah, so you
already.
just launch it further.
But we'd have to develop
No,
technology.
it has to go faster than the speed of light.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it has to go
that's
faster than the speed of
impossible.
light and
Yes,
far enough.
It is impossible.
But I'm
Now,
saying that theory in general makes sense. Like that theory is the only way we could correctly see the past.
the only thing that confuses me is I'm pretty sure they say if you travel at the speed of light, you just won't age. Because there's cases where if I go to space, I age slower than people on Earth,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So that's because of like the speed I'm going. So if I go fast enough into the forward or far away,
It's
then
not
I
that
can
you're
go
aging.
into the future.
It's just that you're aging at a slower rate than the
Yeah, but-
people relative to Earth.
You could do that just going to the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The moon. No, I think the moon is. I forget what it is, but it's like literally seconds. It's like seconds, behind, like
Yeah.
milliseconds. So it's like if you stay long enough, you could essentially like if I don't know what the relativity is, but like if you're in the Earth's gravitational pull and you're in that space,
Yeah.
it's incredibly small, but like you could potentially be 5 seconds younger than what you were when you come back.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
like
the
something-
longer you're there, the bigger the
that-
gap
Yeah.
gets.
I don't know if you'll be 5 seconds younger because if you're 22, you won't come back 21.
No.
You just be
no.
instead of 22
You'll be 22,
in a day, you'll be like
but
22
everything
in-
else is 5 seconds ahead.
Yeah.
So it'd be like you're 22 when you go into space.
Yeah.
When you come back, you'll be like 20. The time you'll be 22, but the time will be 22 and X.
No,
Yeah.
so
yeah, you're
'cause
just
time is
progressing at
relative.
a different rate.
Time is relative. Right?
Yeah.
So if I'm in space, I'm still counting my years based on Earth.
Yeah. So
that
yeah,
means
when
I'll be younger.
You'll be younger than the people you left at the same time.
Yeah, but if my mom calls me to say happy birthday on the space station,
It'll be
she will call me
early.
how X amount of time earlier
Yeah.
than my actual age
Yeah.
or later.
You'll still be aging, but
You
you
guys ever
won't.
watch that movie Interstellar?
Yeah.
Like that movie is literally what we're talking about. Essentially, what the idea of the movie is, the movie is genius like this. It's this guy who goes into space for whatever missions. I don't forget what it was. It was so long ago that I
Spoilers.
watched. And he went with this crew. And in the background of the movie, you hear clicks. It's like based in the movie was accurately deciphering their distance from Earth, right? And like these hypothetical planets. If these hypothetical planets existed, in the movie created these ticks. And these ticks happened, I think it was like every 1 or like 38 seconds or something like that. And essentially every tick was 1 year on Earth.
Yeah.
So when he came back,
He was like,
it explained that idea of time relativity.
yeah.
Yep. Anyways, we've come to the conclusion that none of us really know what we're talking about. But that's
Remember
why
that? Remember that? I have a question. Remember that conversation we had in high school? If you freeze time, do you still age?
No, because if you freeze time, and you can exist and you can still move, you're outside of the time continuum.
Continuum, yeah.
Yeah.
So that means you don't age because
No,
the
no.
time hasn't.
But
'Cause-
you are still relevant.
I know, but okay, if you're freezing time, that means the sun will never set until you unfreeze it. That means that if someone's halfway through a breath, then they're halfway through a breath until you unfreeze time, which means you're existing. That everything that would have been affected by time is not effective. You're not affected by it because you can't. Because if you were affected by it, you're in the space-time
But-
continuum.
think of it this way. Don't think of it like outside time. Think about your body clock.
Yeah.
Like say your heart has this many beats until it stops.
Yeah.
Right? So if I freeze time, my heart's still beating. So does
Well, you
that
can't-
still count towards my maximum amount of beats that it has?
No, because you're not afflicted by the time. So your heart, if your heart is beating and you're aging as time progresses, then your heart gets weaker as it beats.
Yeah.
But if time hasn't progressed from the time you froze it, your heart's still beating. That means it's going to continue beating at the same level that it was
So
at,
it's gonna be
at the
like
time. No, just be
No.
beating at this like okay. Like imagine like it's like a song. So if you're playing the drums in the beginning and then you're like in the middle of your life, so you're in the middle of the chorus and the drummer's going off, and then imagine just holding that, taking that drummer out of the song, and the song is frozen.
But that you still hear that same beat of drums.
Yeah, the rhythm of the drums never stops until you resume the song again, until you rejoin the song.
Oh, so
Yeah.
it's like when you accidentally press that weird button when you're watching YouTube and it goes like over
But
and over and over and over.
It's like
again.
doing that and then hitting pause at the same time, so it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I don't think you would age because like again, time's relative. So like if it's not happening, then how could you age? Like how could you move through something that's not moving?
Yeah.
Really? So that's what I think, but I'm just playing devil's advocate just to see.
Like I said, we're three idiots who don't know
Just
anything.
think, we don't know shit. But what are you gonna do? On a separate note, on this week's episode of Andre's Search for Answers.
No.
No, the
What?
answer is no.
What?
No, I don't.
No. This one is not even sexual.
I would say no.
I have
This
a
is not
I have
sexually based at all.
something to say
Okay.
after.
Okay? Right? I want to know, what if you could multiplayer dream?
No.
What if you can multiplayer dream? Okay?
Multiply or multiply?
Multiplayer dream. Like
If
say
you-
we all fell asleep right now.
Like Inception.
We all like connect in the dream.
No.
Right? But then who
is
would
the
have
architect.
Yeah. Who would have like say in how the dream world goes?
Yeah, that's why I would say no.
What do you mean no?
Because either I'll be irresponsible and invite you guys into a nightmare, or one of you guys will get bright ideas and do the same thing. So no.
No, but it's not a choice. I'm not saying like I come here. I just saying we just all like mind connect
Mhm.
like this, and then
It would be whoever's the host. But how does that?
how to
Who's
I don't know.
hosting?
The same way a Call of Duty lobby works. You don't know who's hosting. Someone's hosting.
is
though.
it random
I think it would be.
or is
Or it'd be
it
first
brain
one-
power?
It'd be first one to
See,
fall
that's why I
asleep.
would say no, because you just break.
No,
one of us
you
is
know
gonna
what it would
break
be?
everybody else.
It'd be the first. So essentially, the way dreams work are like subconscious thoughts while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
That your brain creates a mental picture for. So what I think it would be essentially the first one to create a large enough subconscious mental picture that can hold that many people.
See, whoever,
But then,
whoever
if
hits
I'm
REM
lucid
first.
dreaming and you're having a big subconscious dream, and I'm aware that you're creating a big subconscious dream, I have the upper hand because I would be conscious of you doing that, which means I could manipulate it because you wouldn't be aware of your big dreamscape.
Yeah.
But because I'm lucid dreaming and everyone else is just dreaming,
So you're saying you
So
could mess
whoever-
with my dreams.
so whoever is lucid dreaming, so if we're all connected
Yes.
in the dream per se,
Yes.
and you're just dreaming, it's
Yes.
subconscious, and somehow I just realize that I'm dreaming, and then we're all linked into the dream, but no one is actually consciously aware that they're dreaming except me. So I can interact in the dream. No one else can do that consciously,
Yeah.
which means I can then manipulate what goes on in the dream.
But could you manipulate everything or just your
Just your
interaction?
I could
with them?
I could influence your subconsciousness.
Yeah, but I
Because
don't.
you're not aware of me doing that. So it would literally be like brainwashing.
No, but
I
I
could just
think
like,
it would be kind of like because it's not like
waterfalls,
you can't just make a helicopter appear out of thin air.
No,
You would have to physically within the dream walk somewhere
It's-
and interact with something.
It's
right?
literally Inception. Because it's literally Inception. Because in the movie they were trying to change this billionaire's mind
Yeah.
because he was inheriting
Yeah,
it from
yeah.
his dad. He wasn't aware he was dreaming.
Yeah.
But the people who were lucid dreaming, although they had no actual control of the design, they could influence his subconscious.
Yeah.
So if I'm lucid, y'all are finished.
Yeah,
Or whoever is lucid first,
No, but
It's
he's not
finished.
asking that. Like if you're lucid, you're lucid. That's,
If I'm-
that's fine. But
yeah.
who's hosting the dream?
it doesn't matter who's hosting it because whoever is lucid has influence over.
Okay, what if no one's lucid?
Well, then we're all this is mayhem. It's mayhem, and it's just like Fortnite. It's Fortnite instead of Minecraft. That's what it is.
Oh my god.
Someone needs to be lucid, or else we're all gonna traumatize each
So
other.
the true architect would be whoever has the mindscape
Because
is the one who lucid dreams. Then
Yeah.
everyone's fucked.
or it's gonna be a happy time. Because what if you're having a nightmare? What if you had a bad day, or you just had like you watched a like, for me like you watched the spiders attack,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking of giant tarantulas. You link up with me, and now my giant tarantulas are in your dream,
Yeah.
and now you're traumatized, and I passed my phobia I inherited individually onto you, unknowingly.
But would I?
And then
Wouldn't
you
I
wake up-
react to a tarantula the same way I would now? Like, say I'm not scared of tarantulas at all. If I see one in my dream,
But if it's subconscious, which means there's an emotion attached to it. So if my emotional reaction to the tarantula is then transferred to you,
Oh, so then
then
I would
I
have
just
the
give
same
you a
emotional
phobia.
transfer.
That's how we spread mentally transmitted diseases.
all right. So we've learned that myths are a thing.
Yeah.
Wait, MTDs. I mean,
MTD.
I don't know where I got
MTIs,
myth from.
mentally transmitted infections. You have to be careful. Put your thinking cap on for protection, and then when you go to sleep, you'll be okay.
Put a condom over your head.
Just put a plastic bag. It'll end all your sufferings and your life.
Yeah. You're like, oh, make sure you tie it really tight.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyways, what do you want to say, Machi?
Oh, I had. So what I did was, unbeknownst to you guys, I asked people if they had any questions for the podcast.
That's smart.
Okay.
I only got one answer.
That's okay.
Okay.
I
What's the
got
question?
one reply from my buddy Daniel.
Okay.
He asked the question.
Did he say it was
It's
okay
like-
to use his name?
Yes, I hope
Okay.
so. Well, it's too late now. He asked. I don't have the question in front of me because no phone right now. But the question is essentially, how much does very similar to what we were talking about earlier, but how much does a personnel's I don't know how to word it. How does an emotional event, affect a player and a team to perform better in said sporting event? For example, the Los Angeles Lakers are a good team, but they weren't supposed to be as good as they are. Is that because the death of Kobe Bryant sparked their team spirit, and that's what's helping them,
Does trauma build character?
exactly the same way? For example, I know Alexander Ovechkin, the Washington Capitals, they went on that magnificent playoff run when the Denver Broncos got into that crazy bus accident.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of players who were like emotionally invested into that team, whether it was through like sponsorships or whatever. And like how, I don't know if it's just a subconscious thing that these dramatic events help these teams overcome adversity and make a push where they're not really supposed to be making a push, or is it let's win for this guy and let's fucking get it?
I think it's both. Because I remember.
Or is it just a coincidence that they are playing outstanding, like levels above with this? Because let's face it, Kobe Bryant's death was months ago.
Yeah.
And you rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. When nobody's really talking about it anymore, it kind
Except
of
for
faded
the
away.
Lakers. Because he's like a legend for the club. So imagine like Royce, God forbid, passes. And then
They'll
the
rename
next-
the Ballon d'Or after him. All I'm
Royce
saying.
Adore.
Royce Adore.
And then for the next couple of years, whenever you put on a Dortmund shirt, it's going to be fresh in the mind of the squad. Be like, there was a player that played here that was the legend to the club
Yeah.
that passed away untimely in our eyes. So when I put on this shirt, I have to honor it. Like honor his name because he gave so
Yeah,
much
so
to
you
the
think
club.
there's a massive influence from like a player's death, and that death built character within the organization and influence them
The
or
players.
like push them to
Yeah.
play levels above what they're supposed to be playing.
Yeah.
What do you think, Andre? Or do you think it's just professional athletes have the tendency to kind of cancel out noise and they're just playing their game, regardless if Kobe was dead or wasn't?
If we're talking about the Lakers specifically, at this point, I think it's just Browning at this point. I don't really think it's any specific, like I'm not saying they're not thinking about it, yeah, but I don't think it's like
They're not in
they
the locker room.
wouldn't
Pre-game.
Like I don't think it's like if Kobe was alive now, they would be out. Like I don't see it happening that way because like even
It's a
looking
good
at
catalyst, though.
looking at who they played to get here, like they're better than all those teams. Anyways, so like they should have won, but like in like a longer, if we're talking about an individual level, that I would see more. And then so like say you're doing whatever and then you're going through a divorce at home and then you have to go play that day. One of two things will happen. You'll play amazing or you'll play bad, I think. Is what I'm saying. Or it just won't affect you and you'll play normal. Like anything can happen, especially since trauma, quote unquote, I've heard where it is like stored in like the part of your brain that you can't consciously access. Right? So you'll react to certain things that are there, but you can't figure out why. Which is why triggers are a thing. Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes
From,
you
like,
just get
childhood
triggered.
trauma
Yeah,
and
you'll
stuff.
have childhood trauma, won't have no recollection of it whatsoever, but anything any remotely close to that will like trigger you on another level. So like
I think I have that. Not gonna lie to you. There are moments in my life where like I wouldn't be thinking about it at all, and I would see something completely irrelevant, but it would trigger it.
yeah. No, I think
Like
a lot of people
I have a story for that too.
A lot of people do. So
I heard a story where Chris Paul, when he was in high school, his grandfather died, and I don't know if it was the day of or the day after, he just dropped 68 points in a high school game, and that's the most he's ever.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
I think on a personal level,
I think
yes.
whoever it influences.
And it depends on who you are as like a person, because there's some people who trauma drives, and there's other people who trauma like crushes.
Yeah, but as a professional athlete, aren't you supposed to? Like, I think we underestimate professional athletes in the psychological aspect of the sport, because let's face it, we're normal people. We play footy or whatever. So when things affect us, it can be the smallest thing, they'll affect our play. I feel as professional athletes, when you have trauma, opposing fans booing you, your fans cheering you on, I think as a professional athlete, you are trained to kind of erase any and all noise.
Yeah, but look how many players, especially in footy, where they'll have a couple bad games, they start getting booed, and then it just keeps getting worse from there. Then they start getting scared to mess up. Then they start not trying out fancy things. They'll stop trying to deke players because they don't want to lose the ball. Or strikers who like haven't scored in a long time, like I can physically see them. Like on a normal time, they'd come, like they would just one time it straight in. Every other time, they're scared that they're gonna take a touch and try and like find
That's
like
me right now.
for sure. They're trying to find that this will go in 100% moment in order to score because of how scared they are. So like but then there's other players like even like say
Zlatan.
even
Zlatan
like say
takes pressure and uses it as motivation, and then like I don't know, like Renato Sanchez, he popped on the scene real quick, and then he's gone.
That's
what
the pressure. I don't know. Maybe like I was talking to Andre in the car, but we were talking about Havertz.
Yeah,
and it's like
I think that's what's happening to him.
I was watching him play for Chelsea. That's not the same player.
That's
who played for Bayer Leverkusen last year.
I was talking to my sister like, you guys paid how much for this guy?
No, like that dude. This guy was outstanding.
Yeah, but she was saying he looks super stressed.
No, I can literally see it in him.
Yeah,
like,
I'm like, this guy's stressed out.
It's the price tag that he comes with. It's the hype that he comes with. Dude, the kid's a 20-year-old kid, 21-year-old kid.
Nice. So you can imagine how much pressure Neymar felt when he went to PSG for basically $500 million.
Yeah, but Neymar was in a position where he's won everything for Barcelona. He's played with the best. He's lived up to the pressures of Barcelona. I think the pressures of PSG were far less than Barcelona.
Yeah, for PSG as a team, yeah. But as a person, because now he goes on the street, the level of attention is already high, but now it's heightened because he's the most expensive footballer ever. So he can't, if he has like a decent game, goes out in the street, someone's gonna say, you're not even worth 2 cents. My paycheck, I wouldn't even pay you my paycheck to play next game or whatever. And he could have like 20 people say that to him.
This is true, but he plays in league.
Don't disrespect me.
Even if Even if
Don't people have
he's playing at
livelihoods in that.
20% capacity,
Yo, stop.
bro, have you
Don't
watched him
finish the
play a
sentence.
game?
Yo,
Have you
everyone's
s-
thinking
no,
it. You
listen,
don't have to
listen,
say it.
He's
listen.
literally playing like the best player in our men's league.
Listen,
Yo,
listen,
don't.
Johnny.
You don't have to say
Johnny,
it, man.
he was. Listen, I saw him.
The French
his
league
first
develops
season,
good players.
His first
I
season
think they
in the
have
French
talent.
league, Johnny. His first season in the French league, he was literally injured probably every third game,
You know they came
and
up
he
with
still
the
finished with the top goal scorer.
There's actually a conspiracy, a weird conspiracy with that. Is like he's always injured after the international break,
Yeah.
and that's because he goes back to Brazil. Have you ever heard that weird story with him and
His sister?
yeah?
No.
So they're like, yo, why is he always injured after he comes back from Brazil? And he's like, people like,
Are you gonna
anyways.
finish? I don't know what the. I don't know
I
what the
feel
Incest.
uncomfortable. Yeah,
Oh, incest.
No, but he says he has like an incredible I don't believe in that incest bullshit.
Yeah.
I do think that like the sister is the most important influence on his life. But I do find it funny how he's always injured during his sister's most important events, i.e., birthday, family gatherings.
yeah, that's just
etc.
weird. It's highly coincidental.
Maybe he's just like a family man, man.
Like-
How do you
no, I'm sure
how do
he is
you
a
get so
family man.
amped that you hurt yourself?
He's not injured, bro.
He's not injured.
He's just saying he's injured,
Yeah.
so he can go there. But
I
that
think
doesn't
so.
mean.
Oh,
that-
he's on drugs and alcohol, and he has to let it detox his system before he can take drugs. So before he does that, he's like, "Hey, wait, I'm injured, so don't
Don't call
put that
me.
needle back. I don't need it. There's no point to take a medical evaluation. I'm unable to perform. My leg's broken, no cast. It's a little fracture.
Anyways, I don't know how we got here.
The
but
doctors had to walk it off.
I don't know. They put some spray on my leg. I don't feel anything.
Yeah, that
But
cold
it's
spray.
there.
That cold spray hits next level.
It is
That
great.
cold spray is good.
It's so cold that it burns.
yeah,
I
It's
like it.
nuts.
I like it.
but
It's
yeah.
great.
Bottom line is, if you watch Neymar play, I've never seen someone just like be in a
Nonchalantly
league
play?
and literally just
That's how sick he is.
he like
He literally
doesn't
toys
try.
with people.
Like he doesn't do like that's why when he played. This is why when he's in like the top like level, like when he had to play Bayern, he just disappeared
Yeah.
because
He's
they're
not used to it.
He played 30 games a season against like he just played 30 games a
Farmers.
season like it was
Farmers.
pickup.
Yeah.
I'm not saying teams in League One are bad because
But they're not that
they're
good.
professionals. They're professionals. I'm just saying when a player of Neymar's quality treats 30 games a season like it's a Sunday league pickup,
That's not good.
it's not good for him. It's not good for
The
when the
league?
team wants to compete in Champions League.
Exactly.
It makes the
It's
rest of the
not-
league look like a bunch of farmers.
I mean, like, look at PSG. You could
Yo, but
Neymar
think
doesn't
about
even
this.
have to run, and they
Think-
will still win the
think
game.
about how sick Neymar is. Because
Yeah.
we like people talk down about Liga
Mm-hmm.
for years, but it's never been so bad, so dramatic
Yeah.
until Neymar came. Even when Ibra and PSG were still dominating the league, they're like, yeah, but Lyon's nice and Marseille, they have their day. Then Neymar comes and he's like, yeah, everyone else except PSG is garbage.
Yeah. Well, it's Mbappe too, and then
Yeah,
you have,
and Cavani.
I
and
think
Verratti.
Verratti is one of the most like I get it. League One, the level of quality in League One is far lower than any of the top 5 leagues, but still League One. They're still professionals. I think Verratti.
I mean, they beat Man City.
I know. I think
Yeah.
Verratti is one of the most underrated center midfielders in the world.
He's actually, yeah, he's
He's
disgusting.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then exactly. So like, even the pressure thing you're talking about in a game, Neymar has no pressure.
Yeah, that's true.
If you look at him play, he's just like,
But
I'm gonna
the
try
whole-
this.
The whole of France hates him. That like the individual pressure,
Yeah.
like in his personal life. Because I think in France, I heard that if you're a PSG, like only people in Paris are PSG fans, and the rest of France don't
Hates-
like.
That's
Yeah.
usually
PSG
how it
fans.
goes
It's how- it's
with
exactly
like the
how-
top teams.
I know, but like
You don't
in,
think
in,
that's how it's
in,
like
in-
with Bayern?
In
Oh
England,
my
it's
God.
more dispersed because you have a bigger top teams. Even
Yeah.
even with Germany,
I
I
mean,
feel like there's
no.
more respect because they're German players
Mm-hmm.
that are playing for Bayern for the most part. so
Yeah,
they're not gonna
fair.
trash them that as much as they'll
No,
trash PSG.
I think I agree with Johnny there. Yeah, no, but like for example, listen, I'm a Dortmund fan. I
Yeah.
hate Schalke. I'm supposed to hate Schalke the most in the world. I hate Bayern more. And it's not. Listen, this is a situation where
just
I'm
keep
a
winning.
victim of it, and I'm sure a lot of fans in the Bundesliga are fans of it. We hate Bayern, not because they buy our players, not because it's because they're the best, and they're the best by a long shot, and that's why we hate them.
Yeah.
However, did I cheer for them in the Champions League final? Yes. Why? They got a Polish guy as a striker. They got a Canadian as their left back. It kind
Why
of
not?
made sense.
You
for
got
me.
to.
So
You're obligated
I'm
legally
obligated,
to do that.
Legally. But yeah, no, I don't know. It's
But like,
really-
okay, like
it's-
Bale,
Okay, yes.
that mental pressure, like he has to be, like there has to have the strength of an ox mentally.
But I don't
To
think
deal
Bale.
with that.
Like I think Bale had that strength.
Yeah,
I
but
think
he-
it was just a matter of everyone just weighing in on him, and I mean,
yeah, and then it was like
the-
a catalyst. Is like, okay,
Bro,
now I'm gonna like
You
lay
look
it
at
out.
this. You look at this guy's performance for Real Madrid. He single-handedly won them that Champions League final
Yeah.
against Liverpool.
But I don't know. That's the thing. Like, I don't think necessarily the fans like made him play worse. I literally think they just got to a point. He's like, why am
I trying?
Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
My team hates me. I'm just getting benched for no reason.
Yeah.
My fans are always on my case. I score bicycle kick. They're still on my case. Like,
I
what do you
scored
like? What do
One
you
of the
want?
goals of the century.
I literally saw a video today where
I
like
won
Varane
Coke.
is trying to give him like the you know that when they take the picture they have like the little banner thing, like he's trying to give him Bale.
Oh.
Literally just like turns to him and just like stares him in his face. He's like,
No,
and then he takes it, goes up and gives it to the player next to him. I was like, it was funny because it was last year I think, so it's like Hazard's first season. You just see Hazard just like, what is going?
yo, I feel bad for
on here?
Hazard too because like he didn't know the environment, the atmosphere, the change room, and I was like, is this how you treat legends?
Yeah.
What am I doing here?
I've never seen someone so blatantly
Disrespected.
by the club and then just be like so openly like, I don't care about
Yeah.
this club like at all. I hate this
This
club.
guy was like,
I-
yo,
You know,
Wales,
he said,
both
yeah,
Madrid.
He says he hates the club and everything, and I get it. He hates the club, but you look at his production for the club,
And he's still
it's
professional.
Like when people say Bale was a flop for the 90 million or 70 million they paid for him, absolutely not. His production value was more than worth 70 million.
It's
Yeah.
not a flop. But I mean, I don't know. Real Madrid, like even Zidane, like Zidane literally
He
just came up,
surprised me.
looked him right in the face, and he's just like,
I'm not
You're
going
out
to
of my
play you.
system.
he's just like, nah. He literally
don't
just
like
came,
him.
walked in, nah.
Sacre bleu.
You're
Vive
lucky.
la révolution.
Oh my god, man! I don't know what it was.
I
but yeah.
think and this is a conspiracy that I just drew up in my head. But if you look at the English or British players that have gone to Real Madrid, the only one that's had like a mildly successful time was Beckham. Michael Owens had the same career Bale had at Madrid, which is laced with injuries, and he never became the player he was like had the potential to be. And the same thing with Bale at least produced enough to prove his worth, and then he just got laced up with injuries. But every other English player that's gone to Madrid,
I'm trying to think.
Madrid
of
fans are disrespecting Marcelo right now.
yo, I
Like, if
remember 2
Marcelo's
years
not
ago,
safe, and
bro.
then-
2 years ago, they were saying Marcelo put on 15 kilograms of weight in the middle of the season, and he's like, "That's literally impossible. That's like 30 pounds. How can I put on that much weight playing games? How's that possible?
and working out every day.
Working
and
out, training twice a day. I put on 30 pounds. Make it make sense, people.
I don't know how many times
Same
did
thing
Madrid
with Isco.
disrespect Ronaldo, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, what's wrong with fans?
Four Ballon d'Ors? Disrespect.
You have a guy downing 5 beers every day, chastising Ronaldo, saying you're out of shape. Are you nuts, bro? If you don't take your Corona and chill out, bro, come on.
You can use this app
Your-
as a bottle opener.
your
And
Dos
that's an
Equis.
understatement.
No. I would never, like as a player, like I would never. Madrid is like one of the worst places. Madrid, Man United is really bad too.
Man United's bad, and that's why like
Yeah.
I love Sancho, and like I want the money for Sancho.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here. I don't want Sancho to spend his whole career in Dortmund because a player of Sancho's quality deserves to win.
He's Ballon d'Or
everything.
quality.
He is outstanding, and I want him. Like I want the money for him. I just don't go to Manchester United, buddy.
Yo.
Don't. I like Sancho. I love you, man. Barcelona need a new right mid. I think you'll fit in very well in Barcelona. Don't go to Man U. You don't ruin your career. If you
At
want to
Man
go to
U?
a team like Liverpool,
Have
Man
you-
City,
Have you seen like Pogba's like probably like as of right now is probably my favorite player. When I look at Pogba's physique at Juve and compare it to him at Man U, even Lukaku, bro, it's so weird, but they put on so much weird like top heavy weight that Lukaku was actually fat at Man U, and then he goes to Inter, and he's lean like he was back at Everton. Shaw was actually a lean, quick
he was
left back,
he's
and now he's tubby. I look at Pogba, and I'm like, French, he had that typical Frenchman with high cheekbones and stuff. I'm looking at him like, bro, why is your face looking like an oval? And why can I see your love handles like sticking out like a block?
Like the thing with Pogba though is you could see Pogba's a competitor, and like I really like Pogba and I want him to do well. But it's sad to see a player of Pogba's quality, like the way when he received the ball in center midfielder, the way he used all that force to shield it, and he used those quick turns. Like I don't see that anymore from him, and it's so sad.
Yeah, because they've literally, I don't know what the strength and conditioning coaches do, but they literally build the opposite of what a footballer's physique is supposed to be.
It's really weird. Yeah, it is.
Because even like you look at Rashford has a chiseled upper body, but his legs are still twigs.
Yeah,
and he's fast. So why don't you just focus on improving his acceleration and agility?
They need Byron's
physio.
No,
and
Bayern's,
strength and conditioning.
Bayern's physio is a little fishy, man. There's no way a guy like
Goretzka
Goretzka got as ripped as he did.
Yo, this
Nazi
guy was
drugs,
skinnier
bro.
than me, and now he's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You know what?
How does that make
Bro,
sense?
I'm not gonna lie. Like, fuck. World War II was hell. But I'm not surprised the Nazis did as well as they did.
No, that's a
Holy
Nazi training regimen they brought back. And they're just not telling anybody.
Horrible.
I guarantee you, if you
that
go,
Goretzka thing was actually like, I was
Scary.
just like, I didn't realize like how like close the pictures were.
This
know what I
is how
mean?
crazy it is. I thought they bought a player in the middle in the middle of the break.
Like-
I was like, who is this guy? I never seen him before. And he told me he's Goretzka.
Like, Thomas Muller looks fit. And Thomas Muller does not look like a professional football player.
No.
No,
So you know, if Thomas Muller looks fit, your training staff is doing
It's
something right.
stupid. If Philippe Coutinho is a tank now, like he doesn't look right. I'm looking at this guy like, why do you feel like you could just snap my neck doing that?
Why do you feel like players like Thiago could body people?
Yeah.
Alphonso Davies went from MLS to sprinting past Barcelona's whole entire team.
Samedo. Who does that? who jukes is the fastest right back in the Spanish league?
A left back from Bayern.
Tell me how he's playing from Vancouver, and within a year he's the fastest left back. Fastest
world.
player
In the world.
in the world.
Tell me how he played in the MLS a season ago, and this year he moved a top 5 left back to center back.
Yeah.
Make it make sense. And he's not. And Alba's not even mad. He's like, yeah, you should play here.
Yeah, he's
move
faster
me.
than me. He's faster than me. He's more offensively gifted than me. I'll play center back beside Boateng. No problem. And that's
I don't
how
even
you win
have to
Champions
like. I don't even have to worry about fast strikers. I'll just call him at half because he doesn't need to be beside me anymore.
Yeah.
I call him at half. The guy's 20 yards behind me,
And
and he'll catch him. He
League.
caught Haaland.
And he had Haaland in his pocket. The thing is though, Haaland's not even that slow.
No, he's fast. He's a fast He strapped Mbappe in
Yeah,
the Champions League. I didn't see Mbappe that entire game.
Yep.
How does that make sense?
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
You know what the worst? You know what the thing is you guys got Chelsea paying 70 million for Chilwell, and then Bayern
And he's
bought
not
Davies.
fit.
You bought Davies for 12 mil, maybe. How much was? I wish Atlanta was here so she could tell us. But I wonder how much was Davies' transfer fee? It wasn't more than 20.
No.
I think it was like 10.
I think it was like
something.
10 or 15.
10 or
Something
15.
like that.
Yeah. Yo, all of Bayern's whole squad
Can buy you one Timo Werner.
can buy you
Werner.
one sterling.
Yeah, Timo Werner.
Can literally buy you one sterling.
Mm-hmm.
Not pounds, but the Yo, I was waiting to drop
You're
that.
hilarious, man. I think you're hilarious. Don't you? Oh my goodness. Yeah.
That's what. I think that's what wins.
That's
Champions
business. That's good business, man.
League. They got Lewandowski for free.
Yeah. They got Neuer. Did they get Neuer for free?
No, Neuer was
Like 5 mil?
Neuer cost him 5 mil from Schalke. I do remember that.
But I can't get over that whole Coutinho story. I can't get over it. The fact that they took Coutinho from Barcelona, used him to beat them,
One Champions League.
One Champions League.
No,
and then
Barcelona
made
has to pay 5 to Liverpool because Coutinho.
Oh my god,
Yo.
I don't know. Barcelona is crazy, bro. Do you know they almost sold Rakitic for 80 million, and then waited a season and sold him for 1.5 million?
You say 1.5 million?
He left for 1.5 million.
See, that's
horrible.
stupid.
Like that's just
That's just stupid. You sell
You-
Artur
you have
and get the exact same midfielder that's just 7 years older than him.
dude, I don't get it, man. I don't.
That's why Messi's just upset.
Barcelona. Like, listen, I was talking to my friends about this, and if Coleman or whatever the new manager's name is, Coleman, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're talking about
That,
Kingsley
that
for a second.
no, that
Yeah,
Dutch
okay,
guy.
Okay, yeah.
If he can get Messi to calm down a bit and say, Messi, like, focus here. I'm trying to build
Yeah.
a good team. Barca still have a good team.
Only because Messi.
Yeah, but they're all friggin' 30 plus.
No, like, listen, your top three, Ansu Fati, Messi is Messi no matter what age he is.
Yes.
Ansu Fati, and if Griezmann played on the left his whole entire career at Barca, play him at fucking striker.
Well, now
Suarez
that
is gone.
Suarez is gone,
Suarez
he
is
can do
gone.
that.
Play him at striker where he's supposed to be. You have Coutinho behind him. Coutinho, De Jong, Sergio Busquets. Fine, he's old. You are one center back and a right back to replace Semedo because Semedo just left, away from being competitive.
Realistically, Barcelona is like what happens when you have a career mode on FIFA and then your 5-year-old niece decides to pick up the controller and sims 3 seasons and you're like, what did you just do?
anything.
Why do I have no money and why do I have all 50-year-olds on my team?
I don't.
You brought Inzaghi back and he's not even in the game. What are you doing?
Oh my god, yeah.
what
And
it
then
is.
Lampard is an example of when at the beginning of FIFA, it's your first time playing, but then
You
you do
just-
financial takeover and manager mode right at the beginning and just start
And
buying
just buying
players.
everyone.
Yo, he might. I think if he doesn't do well, I don't think he'll do well.
I don't
Well,
think he's
maybe.
a good coach, man.
No,
I really don't. I don't.
I think he'll get fired at the end of the
I
season or by
really don't
January.
see anything like that he's done. Like watching Chelsea play,
There's no identity.
yeah, I don't like they play like different like every time they play.
Yeah,
They're,
'cause
like,
you
they
don't
look
know-
different, and then like he doesn't. It's like weird. Like he doesn't like fix things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he'll see a problem, and I'll just watch him. Like it's the same problem. Like
Yeah.
the whole time. I don't know.
Because with
It's really weird.
even with our teams, well, Milan has had that same problem
Mm-hmm.
with Chelsea, but like with Dortmund and Arsenal, there was always like this is like the style of Arsenal. No matter what the coach or players, I was like, this is an Arsenal
Yeah.
team because they play like this.
Mhm.
But I'm looking at Chelsea, I'm like, I don't know what they're about because Lampard hasn't given them any.
For the most frustrating thing with Dortmund and a team like Chelsea, especially Dortmund,
Yeah,
because like I'm invested in Dortmund, I noticed this. But a team like Dortmund, teams like Chelsea, teams like Inter Milan does this too. Teams like Atletico Madrid, like those not at the top of their leagues, but they're fighting. Champions League is almost a lock. You're
but
fighting
they
for
just want to
second.
clinch that. You want to be able to.
Can't, like the problem with those teams is that they could beat anyone in the world, but they could lose to everyone in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Dortmund can beat Bayern. They've done it.
On a good day, they can beat Bayern.
They
but
can
then-
beat Bayern on a mediocre day.
On
They
a-
beat Bayern 3-1 last season in the first time they versed each other. Like Bayern
Then-
can beat Dortmund.
Then on a bad
But then
day,
Bayern will lose. Dortmund
Real
will lose
Sociedad.
3-0 to Union Berlin, and that's the problem. It's
Yeah.
these teams. That's what defies a championship-winning team like Bayern, like your Man Cities, like your Liverpools, like your Real Madrids, like your Juves.
This
Is they
complete
don't
dominance.
lose. Yeah, they don't drop points to stupid teams.
Yeah, but that has to. And I've watched. I think Juventus had like a Netflix documentary, like how
Dortmund had one
Tottenham-
too.
Yeah, yeah.
And Tottenham. Yeah.
So I was watching. I remember watching it a couple years ago, and they were like, the mentality is there is no. They only know winning. Like in practicing, whenever you train, it's just winning. Like whatever you do, you just win. And if you lose, or if you draw, it's like, what are you doing here? It's just winning.
Yeah.
And if you draw, it's like you lost. So you're just upset until you win.
But that's the thing. It's like my friend's a Juve fan,
yeah.
and he's known nothing but winning. For 7 years, he's experienced this team win the League Cup, win the championship, make it to Champions League finals, win the League Cup, win the league. He's known nothing but winning as a Juve fan. So when he loses, the odd time Juve loses, he's like, flips. It's okay because we're gonna win. We're gonna win 8 games in a row after that.
Yeah, and that's only because the players, when they lose, they're triggered.
Yeah,
it's like you're traumatized by losing.
But then, like, for example, a guy like me, when Dortmund lose, those 3 points that are dropped are so much more. Why? Because I know Dortmund are gonna blow a 2-0 lead to fucking
they don't have
Paderborn.
Killer instinct that
Arsenal's
Juve
like
has.
That. If we go on a 20-game winning streak and we lose
You're
one
nervous.
game, that's game over. That's it. The
It's
season's over.
Like in a league like Bundesliga and Serie A, maybe not the Prem, because the Prem, it's, like Johnny said earlier in the podcast, there's 6 competitive teams at the start of the year. 6 teams could potentially win are almost you're okay to bet on 6 teams winning the league without being like called stupid or something.
Yeah.
In the Bundesliga, dropping points is, you have to be perfect to beat Bayern in the Bundesliga. You have to be perfect to beat Juve in the Serie A.
Yeah.
You have to be perfect to beat Real Madrid or Barcelona in La Liga.
And you have to be. I was gonna say something for the French league, but then I realized that
You
there's
just
no
need
way.
to hope the PSG team just all get Corona and just stop playing.
Has PSG won?
Yeah. No, they're actually having such a bad
I
season.
don't think
They haven't won a game this season.
I don't think.
Well, I haven't been following it. I was just
I don't
thinking
know.
of last season.
The
Neymar-
only time I
Neymar-
saw is they had like 79 friggin' yellow cards in one
Neymar,
game.
Neymar's
that
on
was-
a 3-game ban right now, and Kurzawa's on a 6-game ban right now.
Because he's
And
a
Mbappe's injured.
crackhead. And that what's that that midfielder? He always has wide eyes. Like he wants to, like he has blood on his mind all the time. Like I remember Paredes.
I don't know.
That
But I
whole
know
squad.
PSG wasn't dead last a week ago.
How many games have they played? Like 3?
I think 4.
Oh man.
PSG have no wins, no draws.
Maybe this is a big.
No, they won 1 game.
This is the end
They
of
won
an
1
era.
game. They won 1
I know
game.
they've been doing ass, man.
Or they drew it.
You know what it was?
I forget.
Lyon did so well that the rest of the league was like, yeah, we can
do
do
this.
it. Like, PSG, look at what happened to them against Bayern. Look at Neymar. He's not that good.
Not that
Come on.
good.
All you got to do is put an elbow in him. And then,
He's going to fall
just
over,
fall
get
over,
snapped,
and then we
slap
say,
you in the-
oh, okay.
slap you in the head, get a red card, and you're good. All right, Andre, wrap it up. We're so late. We're like, we're talking forever.
All right, I'm gonna close this off by saying, Man
No.
City got slapped.
Oh, yeah. I was very
Anyways.
excited about that.
Anyways, thank you for listening. As always, if you're watching us, you can
Vardy.
catch us on all the DSPs,
Vardy's
digital
underrated
streaming
as
platforms.
a striker.
As
This guy
always,
won Golden
if you're
Boot,
listening,
23
you can watch
goals
us
last
on the
season.
YouTube.
Scores a hat trick against
And
Man
then
City,
if you-
and that he's not in the conversation about being a top striker in Europe.
You
That's
can follow
disrespectful.
us
Now he's
on-
in Champions League. If
you
he
can follow us
replicates what he
on-
does in the Premier League, in the Champions League, he has to be conversation at least in the conversation, top striker at the present moment in history.
We're done.
And you can follow us at Don't Think Too Hard Podcast.
And I think Madison,
on
Instagram, Tielemans, and whoever else is in
Thank
the
you
Leicester City
so much for
midfield,
listening.
They have a
We'll catch
stronger
you next
backbone
week.
than what was it? Man U?
Bye.